Thank you. Fine, thank you very much. So we'll here look into another topic called inheritance in C# programming. Fine. So the objectives of this chapter is to describe the inheritance and its types. Inheritance is if we want to bring the properties of one class into another class, or in general, if we want to bring the features of one class into another class, we can use inheritance. Okay. Now it is always nice if we could reuse something that already exists. That means, for example, in one class we have some methods and some code that we can use in another class, right? We don't need to rewrite the class again. Fine. In that case, it is good, like if you can take that feature, take those methods from the existing class into the new class. Okay. C# is being pure object-oriented language, support this feature of bringing the features of one class into another class, or the methods of the one class into the another class. So in fact, the ability to create new classes from existing classes is a major motivation and power behind the OOP language, that is object-oriented programming language. And C# classes can be reused in several ways. Reusability is achieved by designing new classes, reusing all or some properties of the existing classes. Okay. So with this mechanism of using the features or the members of existing class in the new classes, we call it as an inheritance. And this can be done by different ways. There are different types of inheritance we have. Let us consider we have two classes A and B, and we create a class hierarchy such that B is derived from A, in the sense A is the superclass and B is the derived class or the subclass. It means B can access the data members of the class A. Or this, in simple words, B is a father class and A is a father class and B is a child class. And in reality, in the real world, we see that the children has some qualities of father or mother, right? So there becomes the father and the mother, and their qualities or their features are in their children's. Fine. This is what we call it as an inheritance. The same concept is given here in object-oriented programming. Okay, so we say that if B is derived from A, in the sense B is a subclass of A or B is a child class of A, and B can access the properties which are public or protected properties into public or protected properties of A in B. Okay, so class A in the initial class that is used for the basis for derived class is referred as a base class, parent class, or a superclass. That is, class A is referred as base class, we can call it as parent or a superclass, and class B as a derived class or child class or a subclass. The derived class, that is the class B, is completely new class and incorporate all the data and methods of its base class. In here, all the method and the data, it means those who are public or protected, not private, except private, because private is not accessible outside the class. The class B can have its own data and methods to represent its unique features. In a sense, class A has some features, the derived class B takes those features and can add its own features. Okay, just for an example, we have a class animal which has a member called greet. We write another class called dog, which inherits animal. In this case, dog is a derived class of animal, or we can say dog is a type of animal. Okay, that means that dog has whatever the animal features are in the dog. That is, dog can inherit all the animal features. So what is the common feature in the animal? We can write it here. And when it comes to a specific animal, we write that specific animal and we derive those common features by inheritance. This is what we call it as an inheritance. This is something called is a relationship, where we say dog is a type of animal. Okay, and this is how we can inherit the properties or the features of one class into another class. This is the base class or the derived class or a child class, and this is the super class or the parent class or the what is called the base class. Okay, this is subclass and this is base class. Fine. So in this case, for example, whenever we create an object of dog, we can call the method which is in the animal, since it is public. We create an object of dog and we can call that method. Animal can call its method, but dog even can call this method because the greet method is public and it is derived from the animal class, as dog is a base subclass of animal class. Okay. Now there are different types of inheritance. We have a single inheritance, that is a class has one base class, there is one superclass. For example, this is A and B, right? So B is a type of A or B is derived from A. So it is inheritance, single inheritance. Then we have multiple inheritance, several base classes. In the sense, we have more than one superclass or the base class. Hierarchical inheritance, many subclasses. Multi-level inheritance derived from the derived classes, which is B is derived from A, then we have a C which is derived from B. This is multi-level inheritance. You can see here, this is single inheritance. This is hierarchical inheritance, in the sense one base class, many subclasses. This is multi-level inheritance, in the sense we have a derived class which is also derived from another derived class. So here C. Now in this case, C has all the features of B and B has all the features of A, which are public and protected, not private. Now in this case, for example, if A has a property X which is public, this is in B. In turns, this is also in C because it is also public here. So in the sense, C will also have that. In the sense that the child class here, child of B, has the properties of its parent. Okay, and we also have this multiple inheritance, in the sense we have more than one base class or the super class and one subclass for one subclass. This is called multiple inheritance. Okay. Okay, how we define the inheritance? Whenever we write a name subclass, we put this colon and then we write the base class name from where we want to drive the methods or the features. Okay, now let us put this here in our example. So here we wrote a method called rectangle. Okay, I want to write a superclass for this called shape. Fine, public class shape is what? Any shape, or you can say any geometric shape, rectangle, circle, XYZ. Okay, and every shape has a name. For example, so let's say that I define a property here called string name. That is, a shape has a name. Okay, and we can set the name of the shape. Okay, or we can get the shape name. Fine. So I'll define a constructor here, public shape string name of the shape, and I'll set name equals n. So whenever I create a shape, I pass the name to it. Fine. And the name of the shape is, if I want to get the name of the shape, I'll say, okay, return get shape, okay, get shape name. So it will return me the name of the shape, return name. Okay. Similarly, if you want to use set name, you can use set name. Any default name, if you want to use, you can use default name for that. Okay. Now here, shape is any geometric shape, let's say. Fine. Now what is a rectangle? A rectangle is a shape. So I want to inherit that shape here. In the sense, rectangle is a shape, okay, and rectangle has these, can access the name of the shape from the shape class. Now in this case, when I create an object of rectangle, the object of shape is called, the constructor is called, and I need to pass what, the name of the shape. That's why you see here now it is error. You can see a red line here, and here it is an error because I am not passing the name of the shape, because we have here shape and we need to provide the name of the shape. Okay, or in the sense, let's say that I will make it public shape a default, and I'll set the name is equal to default. Now here, where is the error? There is no error. Why? Because when we create a rectangle, the shape will be the default. Shape will be default. But if I want to create a rectangle and I want to set the shape name as a rectangle here, okay, I can set here as name equal rectangle. Okay, now here I need to use the set name. Due to the protection level, since we did not define it as public, so it is, I cannot access it directly, right? So what I can do here is that for the default case, okay, either I can leave it by default, it will be default, okay, or I can pass it with some value, fine, or I can use a set name function here, public void set or set shape of string n, and I'll say name equals n, and I can call this set shape here, set shape of rectangle. And this work for me, okay. Or if I want to set from here string the name of the shape, and I can set here as set shape to n, whatever, when I create an object, okay. So here I can see that rectangle, I can set the name of the rectangle in the rectangle class. So when we create an object, right, we pass the name. For example, here I'm creating a rectangle. Here I'll pass the name as, for example, rectangle 3. Rectangle 3, 1, 4. Okay. Rectangle, for rectangle 1 and 2, I'm just passing the default. Okay. So the default is here rectangle, just a rectangle. But for rectangle 3, I'm passing here rectangle 3. Okay, 3 objects. So let us just test this. Okay, I'm not printing here. Rectangle length, width, and the area, right? Rectangle. Okay, I'm here. What I'll do is that the shape 0 data is, and I'll get that shape, which is r3 dot get shape, get the shape name. Okay, and similarly I can do it for the rectangle 1 and 2 also, right? r1 dot get shape, it works. r1 dot get shape, and for this also it works. r2 dot get shape, it works fine. r2 dot get shape. Okay, now let us see what are these shape names. Now here the shape rectangle data is length 4, width 4, area 20. The shape rectangle data is 3, 4, area 12. The shape rectangle 3 data is 3, 4. The first two is rectangle because we create R1 and R2 by default, right? And by default, what is the shape name? It is just rectangle. But if you want to pass it here, okay, or if you want to set it the name of the rectangle, you can set it, right? Like you set the data, I can set r1 dot set shape to rectangle 1, and I'll set here for r2 dot set shape to rectangle 2. Okay, now you can see that there is a rectangle 1, rectangle 2, rectangle 1 data, rectangle 2 data, rectangle 3 data, right? Now what we did here is that we define one shape class where we define that what is the name of the shape. Like this, if you want to add the common properties of the shapes, you can add it here, okay, and you can inherit those properties into the rectangle, and we can use that the method get shape set shape in the rectangle class by the rectangle object. So you all see here that by using the rectangle object r1 I call set shape, by using the rectangle object r2 I call set shape. These are the methods from shape class, but I am calling by using the rectangle object. In the sense, what it means that this set shape is available in rectangle by what? By inheritance. By inheritance it is available. Similarly, I am creating an object by specifying the shape which I included here, right? Now like this, if we have more classes, more such classes that that is defining the shape, right? For example, let's say that I'll define a class called circle that inherit shape. Now circle is a shape, right? What does the circle has? Circle will have the radius, of course, the radius of the circle. Okay. Now I can create the object of the circles. I can, set the circle data, set radius, get radius, constructor. Fine. So I'll set, like, for example, okay, I'll define the constructor public circle double R, that is just defining the circle radius is equal to R. Fine. So this is the circle with the radius R. Okay. I can create a circle by defining its name. For example, circle of the string name and the radius. variable r, and I can call set name, set shape of the name, and radius equal r. Okay, now I'll write, for example, other methods like get radius, set radius you can write, and I'll write one method called get area, public double get area of the circle. So this circle returns me the area of the circle. So I'll say return, what is the area? Math dot pi multiplied by radius, which is multiplied by radius again. Let me just round it so that we'll have it correct decimal places. Math dot round of math dot pi into radius to 2 decimal places. Okay, now circle is another shape with I have the radius and I can get the area of the circle. So like I am defining here rectangles, I can create circle object. Circle C1 is equal to new circle of circle 1, its name, and the radius is 2.3. Okay, so I can say console dot write line, the shape 0 data is get the shape, that is C1 dot get shape, get shape. So like I use here like R3 get shape, R1 get shape. I can use C1 dot get shape because C1 circle is also a subclass or a child class of the superclass shape. Okay, so I can, the circle also has those reusing those properties of the shape. Okay, right, like for example console dot write line, the radius is 0, first argument, then area is the second argument, comma C1 dot get radius. I don't have get radius, right? Fine, I'll write it C1 dot get area. Okay, I'll just write it here, get radius public double get radius that return me the radius. Okay, so here C1 dot get radius comma C1 dot get area. So let's run this. We'll see here the circle is added here. Yeah, shape circle 1. What happened here?
Doctor, the last line you must put 1, not 2.
Great. The argument is 1. Let us stop this one. Stupid. Yeah, this argument is 1, not 2. Fine. So we see here now the shape circle 1 data is radius 2.3, area 16.62 with rounding. Fine. So this is how we do the inheritance in C#. Fine. So inheritance is a powerful feature where we can reuse the features of one class in another class. Okay. It is also helpful in places where you want to update the classes. Right. For example, 1 year before you wrote let's say for example a class called student. After 1 year, the student class is bit changed now. The student information is bit changed. The functions have bit changed now. So instead of modifying the old class, what we can do is that we can write a new student class. Let's say for example, student update class, and inherit the student class in that, and just add the new features in the student update class. Fine. So we can write the updated classes, and we can call the previous classes as an inheritance. We can take all the features of the previous classes and put it in the new updated classes. Okay. Similarly, we have another example here. We have class item. We have a method company in the item. Item code is base. Then we have a class fan inherits item. So it is inheriting here the properties, which is we have just company method is inherited, and it is adding its own method model. Fine. When we create item object, we can access only this, what is there in the item. When we create fan object, we can access fan.company. It means we are accessing from its superclass the company method, fan.model from the local method of the class model, the fan. Okay, this is another example of it. Fine. Visibility control. When we are doing inheritance, if we want to control the visibility of the features of the superclass or the base class, we can use these specifiers: public, private, protected, or internal. For example, public, it means you'll find it everywhere. Any data or any member public is available everywhere. Private is only in the class. Anything private is only in that class, available only in that class. Okay, so you can see the private is only in that class. Okay, now coming to the public is everywhere. Now internal is if you are not specifying if you are not specifying the access specifier, then it is available only in that program. Okay, internet is available only in that program. Okay, we also have this protected. Protected is you can access in the subclass. For example, if you have a shape width and length in the height in the shape class, this is available in its subclass. It's in its derived class because of this protected. Protectors are available to the inherited classes. Okay, fine. So this is all what we have here, and what we have seen is inheritance and different types of inheritance and how we do the inheritance. Okay, so one example what I have shown you here is a multi-level inheritance. Oh, sorry, not multi-level. It's a single inheritance. Okay, we have here rectangle inherit shape, then we have circle inherit shape. Right. We can do all other. For example, let's say circle inherit the rectangle. Then it becomes the multi-level inheritance. Okay. So this is about inheritance. Fine. Do you have any questions?
No, all clear.